Surprise, surprise. It turns out that Obama planned on trying to stamp out Bernie Sanders' campaign. So much for Democratic unity, right? Let's talk about it. So, it turns out that Barack Obama had some words to say if Bernie Sanders decided that, he was going to do something silly like win the nomination that he's competing for. God forbid Bernie decided to do something like that. Now, this was reported in an article by Politico, and the article says this. Publicly, he has been clear, talking about Obama, that he won't intervene in the primary for or against a candidate unless he believes there was some egregious attack. Now, I can't even imagine with this field how bad it would be, how bad it would have to be for him to say something, said a close advisor of Obama's. Instead, he sees his role as providing guardrails to keep the process from getting too ugly and to unite the party when the nominee is clear. There is one potential exception. Back when Sanders seemed like more of a threat than he does now, Obama said privately that if Bernie were running away with the nomination, Obama would speak up to stop him. Asked about this, a spokesperson for Obama pointed out that Obama recently said he would support and campaign for whoever the Democratic nominee is. Now, I do want to be clear about something. That's after the nominee was picked. He didn't say that he wouldn't do what he just said he would do, which is speak out against Bernie Sanders in case he was running away with the nomination. Now, there's a lot of parts to break down about this. I think the first and most obvious thing is, what the hell, Obama? Now, the party elites, when Obama ran in 2008, tried to basically keep him out at first. It was all about Hillary Clinton for obvious reasons. Now, because of Obama's wild popularity, Obama was kind of a wild card back then, by the way. They didn't know which way he would fall. But because of his wild popularity and, of course, winning 93% of the black vote eventually, I believe it was Howard Dean stepped in and said, nah, look, Hillary, we'll cut some type of deal, but we can't lose this opportunity. And of course, we know that Obama went on to win the House and the Senate and the White House. So with that being said, however, Obama clearly isn't trying to live by that same philosophy and plans on tipping the scales one way or the other if a Bernie Sanders were to win. What does this mean about Bernie? Well, it shows that even for his flaws, for his imperfections, he is still not establishment. He's just not. I mean, if he was to the establishment's liking, then it's highly likely that Obama wouldn't be trying to speak out against him. Is he more preferred than maybe a Tulsi Gabbard, who was just because of her foreign policy alone is so far outside of the establishment Overton window that they would never. She would crumble the entire foreign policy establishment, which would obviously affect domestic stuff. Does that mean just because they prefer Bernie to Tulsi, does that mean Bernie's establishment? No, because if I ask you who would they prefer between Warren and Bernie, it would be clearly Warren, because Warren absolutely is establishment. Who would they prefer between Biden and Bernie? It would be Biden 100% of the time. Kamala, same thing. So just because Bernie isn't perfect by some standards, or by any standard, nobody's perfect by any standard. But as far as, progressive standards or populist standards, doesn't mean he's establishment. It just means we got to push him where he needs to be pushed. But this also highlights another issue, because this article was actually specifically talking about all the candidates that have met with Barack Obama, ahead of their 2020 presidential run. Now, this list is very short. The list of candidates who did not meet with Obama is very short. Unfortunately, that list is Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang for some reason. Yang used to work with Obama too, which is kind of surprising that he didn't meet with him. But Tulsi does not like Obama's administration, did not like anybody in the Obama administration. So it's not surprising. But we do need to deal with the reality that Bernie didn't, in fact, meet with Obama. Now, a lot of people may believe, oh, no, Well, Obama said privately that he would harm Bernie's campaign. So clearly, that must mean that Bernie said something that Obama didn't like, which is possible. But this is the statement that was given. Now, this was written in the Burlington Free Press, and it's referencing an interview from, or it's referencing the meeting with Obama and Bernie and the person who was there covering it. Now, Dover writes, they talked about the future of the party and their different roles in it. They talked about what the party should be focused on and what would be distractions. Obama discussed his views on the differences between idealism and practicality, and Sanders responded with his. They did not get into the specific discussions of whether or not Bernie would run again in 2020. Now, this meeting took place around June of 2018, so well ahead of the time that Bernie was going to announce. And it wouldn't have raised that much of an eyebrow to me if I've known, or if I didn't know some of the other things that Bernie has said. And unfortunately, this is once again just highlighting the glaring weakness in his choice of people to keep around him at times, but also his lackluster stances when it comes to foreign policy. Now, clearly, they had some complimentary things to say about each other. At least I can say that for Bernie and Obama, because when asked about Obama's foreign policy and all that good stuff, he had this to say in an interview with John Dickerson. He asked Senator Sanders how he felt about Hillary Clinton's assertion that he lacks, Bernie, the foreign policy experience. Sanders responded by noting that Hillary Clinton made the same claim about Barack Obama in 2008, and it turned out to not be true. And Bernie went on to say that he is impressed by the quality of Obama's foreign policy. Now, I don't have to get into all the details, I don't hope, but let's just say that bombing 7 more countries, 90% civilian casualty rate for drone strikes, I mean, amongst a lot of other things, it's not good foreign policy. Obama should not have been impressed. Bernie should not have been impressed in any capacity from with Obama's foreign policy. And so it brings up a grander issue of Bernie has to kind of start to realize, before it's too late, that the more you try and ingratiate yourself and capitulate to this establishment, hoping, cause I think that Bernie just is one of those people that tries to see the best in people. And he tries to believe that most people are in the government are well-intentioned. But that's not the case. It's not the case. And Bernie has to realize the pattern that we've seen taking place. He hired Tad Devine, and this man has a movie made about how bad he is. He can't even leave the country, really. Depending on what country he goes to, he might be arrested on the spot. And he hired him to the campaign in 2016. Okay? Then you see how Hillary treated you. You see how her supporters treated you. But then, of course, you endorsed her. But if it would have stopped at the endorsement, it would have not been that problematic. But you went on to campaign for her. So it did become problematic. You can say, maybe you had to oblige by a contract and all that good stuff. I'm just letting you know that it's becoming a pattern. That's all I'm saying. We look at Elizabeth Warren, who Bernie propped up in 2016, said, you should run. I'll back you. I'll put all my resources behind you. I'll get on the road for you. Warren not only said no, but was basically quiet the entire election as far as who's better on any particular policy. Then, of course, we know she eventually endorsed Hillary Clinton. And then we later found out that she was being vetted for a VP spot. So it was a career move. That's what it was. And then on top of that, we found out that she knew the election was rigged. So the whole time she was being vetted for VP, the whole time she was pretending like it's just a really hard decision for her to make because they're so ideologically similar, right? Because Bernie and Hillary are so ideologically similar. But it was never. It was all about her career, just like it's all about Hillary's career. It's like it was all about Obama's career. Now we can look at what's this man's name? The chairman of the DNC, and now Tom Perez, good guy. Tom Perez, we can look at him. Unity tour. Please, Bernie, help us reunite the party. Please, Bernie, please. So what are they doing now? Still blacking Bernie out of a lot of his talk time. Still working within the media establishment to either not cover Bernie at all or smear him. After Bernie did his best to try and collaborate with them, successful in some ways, not successful in other ways, but he did his best. Said, look, if you do this for me, I'll work with you. We can make it happen. And look what happened anyway. Look what happened anyway. So now you got Obama. Once again, you meet up with Obama in 2018 after shedding some praise on him in 2016. Bernie was still critical of Obama, but he shed some praise on him. And look what happened. Now you found out that this man is, and understand this story is not a coincidence. After Bernie sets a fundraising record, after he has a tremendous debate performance, after he's gone up in the polls since that tremendous debate performance, after he seems more energetic and more enthusiastic than ever before, now all of a sudden this story is planted in the media. It wouldn't have gotten planted if Obama didn't give the green light. So now Obama doesn't have to say that he would put the thumb on a scale against Bernie. But his spokesperson was very clear that Obama said something privately and didn't change Obama's opinion. All he said was, whoever's the nominee, he's going to work with them and campaign for them. Huh? Well, hold up. What about the part before the nominee is picked? Well, all he said was when it came to the nominee, he's going to work for them and campaign for them. Okay, well, what about if Bernie's winning? Well, what he said was when it comes to the nominee, whoever wins, he's going to work with them and campaign for them. That's not a coincidence, people. That's a planned story. Nothing in politics is coincidental when it comes to things like this. So once again, Bernie met in good faith with another establishment shill and is biting him in the back. Or he stabbed him in the back. Wrote that letter to Center for American Progress to Elizabeth Warren. Warren has been taking his policies and watering them down and not even giving Bernie credit anymore. This is a consistent pattern. You can't keep capitulating to the establishment and expecting different results when you are running as an anti-establishment candidate. And they know what that means to their careers. They know what that means to their brands. They know what that means to their legacies. Although Bernie can get things wrong, I do believe that this once again is another example of how he isn't, even when he irritates me at times, he's not establishment, although he has missteps. Missteps are fine, but the problems do come in when people don't want to push him left on issues, because nobody gets elected president and just decides, I'm going to become more left. Oh, there was one guy who tried that. Oh, two people. They both got assassinated. Abraham Lincoln and JFK. Just in case you're curious. So nobody gets elected and it then goes left. Everybody goes a little bit to the right. Even FDR did. He went right on foreign policy. People don't know, or people don't understand, I would say, the ramifications of staying silent when you have a candidate who does listen clearly. Bernie listens, but you're worried that it might stop him from winning. I'm going to tell you a secret. This is something that Trump figured out really quick. To hell with conventionality, to hell with the rules you've seen work in the past. You have to go for the jugular. You got to go all in or not at all. You can't keep one toe in the cool side of the pool and another toe in the jacuzzi. It don't work like that. You got to go all in. And at the end of the day, taking that meeting with Obama was not the right thing to do. It's nice to know that meeting wasn't so favorable that Obama all of a sudden changed his tune on Bernie. Then we would probably have something to be super worried about. But that wasn't the case, thankfully. But it wasn't the right thing to do. We've had other situations during this race where a candidate may praise somebody, may say he admired a specific situation or she admired a specific situation from this particular candidate, this particular leader, and they get destroyed for it. So we can't pretend like this isn't important and that it shouldn't be discussed. It should be addressed, but with the context of, look, you're not establishment, clearly, but you can't keep doing this because why are you meeting with Obama for advice? You get what I'm saying? Who are the type of people that you're getting advice from during your campaign? If you're think that getting Obama's advice is good, who are you be getting advice from during the presidency if you think Obama's advice is good? You get what I'm saying? It's a pattern at this point, and that's why it needs to be addressed. Or you cannot address it. You can say, oh, well, we can't because Bernie's the only chance we have to win. Okay, so I'm going to tell you like this. If you believe that, then you better start pushing him left now. Because you don't want it to be Trump who calls him out. Because for all of Trump's problems, for all of his lunacy, for all of the malarkey he causes, Trump keeps his receipts. And it's probably one of the best opposition researchers that we have seen. This man pulled up to a debate with Bill Clinton's sexual assault victims, okay? Think that he will not dig and dig. He will. And it won't be no fair ones, where we all get boxing gloves on, we hear the ding, and no, it will be a street brawl. And whoever's willing to play the dirtiest and has the receipts to match, that's who will win in 2020. So we have to start helping our candidates make better decisions now before it's too late if we want to see them win. I would love to know what your thoughts are about this. Leave a like and a comment below. And always remember, more than anything else, people, find your balance. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.